Hello and welcome to episode 86 of Glitch Report. My name is GnittWitt. Thank you so much for stopping by, saying hi, kicking it with me today on the stream of dreams, the show of shows, and everything in between. You can find everything that I do over my Linktree, linktree.com/GnittWitt, GnittWitt, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. Did I say TikTok already? We are running out of breath. We are running out of steam to start this show. Linktree.com. It has everything that you need. It has everything that you need. Don't know what else to say. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram Threads, Pornhub. I don't know what else. What else could you possibly want from me? I'll tell you what I want is I want to go play Horizon Forbidden West on the personal computer, but we have a show to do, and that's just fine. That'll mean more Horizon Forbidden West to talk about next week. So for those wondering, it is out now. I have bought it. I need to download it. It's out now on the PC. It came out an hour ago, and I'm not had a chance to play any of it. It's also like 122 gigabytes. Like, it's supposed to be like some big ass game, which, I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but it's a lot to download. Even with good internet, that's still a lot to download. So I will need to get to that later today than play it today, but we will be playing it on Friday. So we'll get this kind of the housekeeping out of the way. Tomorrow we will be playing some Horizon Forbidden West on Twitch, on the internet. So come on back for that. But you are here for the podcast, so let's get the podcast on the road. Coming up on the show today, we're going to do a review roundup for 3 games. We got a huge amount of games coming out this week. We got Rise of the Ronin, Alone in the Dark, and Dragon's Dogma 2. We're going to do review roundups for all those games. Plus, the new Marvel 1943 game has been revealed. We're going to talk about that. We got some Remedy news. We got some Steam news and so much more. But we were going to kick things off with that review roundup of those 3 games that we mentioned. Rise of the Ronin, it is out on Friday. Reviews for it have been coming out. Rise of the Ronin, if you don't remember, that is the game by your friends and mine at Team Ninja, put out by Sony. It is on PS5. Like I said, reviews for it are out now. And I use, this is personal preference, but I use OpenCritic for my reviews, to look up reviews, aggregated reviews, and stuff like that. And according to OpenCritic, Rise of the Ronin currently has a 75 average, with about 57% of critics recommending the game. So 75 average, 57% recommended. Take that for what you will. As we get into the reviews today. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Gross. Looking at the reviews, we got IGN Spain, IGN Italy. IGN does do like country specific, region specific, excuse me, reviews and stuff like that. So this is not like the American IGN that has these reviews out at the moment, at least not from what I can tell. But we do have Spain and Italy. So keep in mind that, like, while it is IGN, it is still different people's opinions and all that stuff. It's just like your opinion, man. So we got IGN Spain. IGN Spain giving Rise of the Ronin a 9 out of 10, saying Rise of the Ronin is the culmination of the combat formula the Team Ninja has been using since Neo. A beautiful game, complex and simple at the same time, and a lot of fun. Katanas and firearms to close a great first quarter of the year for PlayStation. Keep in mind that review is in Spanish, so if the English sounds funny, it's because it's not in English. That's why. Now, difference of opinions, IGN Italy giving it a 7.5 out of 10, saying Rise of the Ronin fails to impress through its open world sandbox or graphical fidelity, but it can still provide dozens of hours of fun thanks to a great combat system, an impressive amount of content, and an interesting story. So, maybe not so bad after all. Video Games Chronicles, as always, shout out to Video Games Chronicles. Jordan Midler at Video Games Chronicles giving it a 3 out of 5, saying Rise of the Ronin is a fine open world adventure that never elevates itself to greatness. Fun Team Ninja combat will drag you through, but pointless open world fluff and questionable visuals sadly result in just another open world game. So let's just take a quick pause right there. when they first announced Rise of the Ronin, one of the things that came into my head was, oh, this looks like a PS3 game. Like, and not like from a literal graphical, perspective of like this game is running at like 720p at 30 frames per second or something like that. It just seemed like it had a more budget-y art style to it, a more budget graphical style to it. And it seems like that is something that's consistent throughout the game. And that's not me being like, oh, well, I'm so smart, I can tell when a game has a bad graphics or whatever. And I'm not even saying the graphics are that bad. I'm just saying that, like, it seems like what was presented at that Sony event not that long ago has come through in the sense that, Team Ninja comes through with great combat. I thought that, Neo had great combat. I thought that Wolong Fallen Dynasty had great combat, and fucking hard, but it had great combat. And it seems like, Team Ninja is continuing that trend with Rise of the Ronin, going for that more samurai plus guns sort of thing. Man, it really seems like between Shogun, the TV show, Helldivers news. We might have some Helldivers news. I can take a look for some Helldivers news. It's a good question. People in Pug and Burrito in chat asking about Helldivers news. But I was going to say that between Shogun, the TV show, Rise of the Ronin, and, Ghost of Tsushima coming to PC in a bit, seems like a big time for samurais. Shout out to all the samurais out there. We're going to move on to the Alone in the Dark reviews. We got a lot more reviews for Alone in the Dark. Alone in the Dark sitting at a 63 average with 42% of critics recommending it. I know a lot of folks are looking forward to Alone in the Dark. Long delayed Alone in the Dark game. Kind of a reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it, sort of thing. But Alone in the Dark, which came out on Wednesday, so that's out now. Like I said, 63 average on OpenCritic with 42% of critics recommending it. IGN 6 out of 10. This is just main IGN. 6 out of 10 saying it's not without its memorable moments, but Alone in the Dark fails to escape the shadows of the other contemporary survival horror titans that it helped spawn. Eurogamer 2 out of 5 saying great ideas and a storied history are mired in mediocre combat and a disappointingly unpolished delivery. Games Radar Plus a 1.5 out of 5 saying a lackluster and fragmented game that never really comes together in any meaningful way in almost every sense that matters, from story to combat, horror, and atmosphere. Alone in the Dark leaves much to be desired. A damn shame. Rock Paper Shotgun does not put review scores on their reviews, but said returning to its interwar period roots, Alone in the Dark successfully reworks and expands the original game's scenario and characters, but its exploration, puzzle solving, and combat largely stick to the now familiar survival horror roots. Did it say roots? Did I read that correctly? Routines, excuse me. Survival horror routines, excuse me. Looking through reviews here, seeing, like I said, you can find all these reviews. I'm not, hiding anything. Video Games Chronicles, shout out to it's 2 times now. Shout out to Video Games Chronicles. Video Games Chronicles giving Alone in the Dark a 2 out of 5, saying Alone in the Dark's promising atmosphere is let down by annoying and repetitive puzzles, poor combat, and frequent glitches. This is called Glitch Report after all. There's a good game in there somewhere, but you have to put up with a lot of frustration to find it. That is a damn shame. Damn shame. I know folks are really looking forward to Alone in the Dark. Maybe not destined to be one of the biggest games of the year, but still, a popular game nonetheless. And then finally, Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma has an average top critic rating of 89, and 96% of critics are recommending it for Dragon's Dogma. IGN 8 out of 10 for Dragon's Dogma 2. More of a redo than a sequel, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a strange and wonderful action RPG that bolsters the original strengths without addressing its weaknesses. Eurogamer 5 out of 5. A huge improvement over the original and a captivating journey from beginning to end. PC Gamer 89 out of 100 saying a magnificent adventure with impressive fights and some very rough edges. I heard that on the PC, the performance on that game is not so great. I've not been able to confirm that because I've not had a chance to play the game myself. GameSpot, 9 out of 10, saying Dragon's Dogma is an excellent sequel that builds upon the first game's core concepts to create a thrilling open world adventure. Kotaku does not put scores on their reviews, and they said watching Dragon's Dogma 2 spin its web is immensely rewarding. I won't pretend all of its systems are novel, but its greatest strength is its resolute belief that every decision it's making is the correct one. It is a shockingly confident personal work. I'd call it a contender for Game of the Generation, but what would be the point? Dragon's Dogma 2 doesn't demand comparison, it merely shows up, works its magic, and takes a bow. Wow, that is do I need to play Dragon's Dogma 2? As someone who did not play that first one, do I need to play Dragon's Dogma 2? Because that is quite the praise. Destructoid, again, no review score, saying even though I have plenty of Dragon's Dogma 2 to experience, I'm incredibly immersed in the journey. I'm already incredibly immersed in the journey. If you played the original, you know exactly what you're getting here. If you haven't, why haven't you? You can expect a massive living open world RPG with rewarding combat and an intriguing storyline. It's not a seamless experience, but in my 40 hours of play, it's certainly been a worthwhile one. Rock, Paper, Shotgun, no score, saying a grand action RPG adventure where you'll take travel plans and have them disrupted by a vengeful griffin whose wing you'd whacked 2 hours earlier. Yeah, a lot of like fighting big monsters and stuff like that in Dragon's Dogma. Taking on all these creatures and whatnot. Good reviews for Dragon's Dogma 2. And then of course we did the reviews for Alone in the Dark and Rise of the Ronin. And just to confirm, if I go back here, open up my notes, Dragon's Dogma is out Friday. Alone in the Dark is out now, and Rise of the Ronin is also out on Friday. Rise of the Ronin on PS5. Alone in the Dark is on damn near everything: PS5, PC, Xbox Series X and S. We got Dragon's Dogma 2, which is out on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. So lots to play. And then, of course, your boy is going to be playing some Horizon Forbidden West. Let's talk about Uncharted. Uncharted's director, specifically Amy Hennig, is helming the new Marvel 1943 Rise of the Hydra. That is the Captain America and Black Panther game. And I'm going to get this out of the way. These fucking game developers are making video games woke. I can't stand it anymore. I've talked about it on this podcast. They keep making video games woke. How dare Captain America fight Nazis? Why would they do? How dare they? I can't even keep up the act. I'm sorry. Marvel and Skydance New Media have unveiled Marvel 1943 Rise of the Hydra, which is being helmed by Uncharted 1 through 3 director Amy Hennig. Trailer is out now. It has no gameplay. No, it's all story, it's all cutscenes, it's all flair, whatever you want to call it. It is sizzle, it is not the steak. How about that? All sizzle, no steak. Here's my thing. I watched the trailer, and in order to keep this podcast an audio-friendly version, we're not going to watch the trailer together. You should watch the trailer if you get the chance. However, one thing I'll say is that the cutscenes and all the stuff that they showed looks gorgeous. It is a very good looking game. If it is anything like that graphical presentation upon release, we're going to have ourselves a very pretty game. It has been confirmed for unspecified platforms for 2025. So we don't know what platforms it's coming out on. We can assume that PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series X's are still around come 2025. But who the hell knows? Who the hell knows if any of us will be around in 2025. According to Skydance, quote, the narrative-driven ensemble adventure will have players controlling an ensemble of 4 characters: a young Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, Azuri T'Challa, the grandfather, Azuri, T'Challa's grandfather, and the World War II era Black Panther. Gabriel Jones, a U.S. soldier and a member of the Howling Commandos, and Nanali, leader of the fledgling Wakandan spy network. So actually playing as 4 characters in the game. At the time, I thought, okay, you're going to go back and forth as, Captain America and Black Panther. That's cool. I got to be honest, I don't know. I saw the first Okay. people on TikTok were giving me shit the other day. I promise this is related to the game. I promise. People on TikTok were giving me shit the other day for my familiarity with Marvel. First of all, most people are going to be familiar with Marvel because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So if I tell somebody, hey man, I know about Black Panther, I saw the first movie, and then that's it, fucking that should be good enough for some people. Like, I'm not saying I'm a fucking Black Panther expert or anything like that, but motherfucker, there's like, without watching the comics, or sorry, without reading the comics, excuse me, like there's so much popularity in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the movies that like most people are going to get their information from fucking the movies, right? People probably didn't know there were multiple Spider-Men until Spider-Man No Way Home, right? Like people probably didn't know what the fuck a Rocket Raccoon was until Guardians of the Galaxy. So first of all, people on TikTok, get off my dick. But the other thing is like I didn't know that there was a Black Panther during World War II. That sounds fucking rad. I want to be Black Panther during World War II. Don't get me wrong, I like Captain America, and Captain America punching Nazis will always be a very cool thing. But the idea of playing T'Challa's grandfather in World War II as Black Panther sounds dope. Go watch the trailer for Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. It looks damn good. This was a game made from the studio that formed in 2019 by Hollywood production company Skydance. What do we have here? We have a quote from Amy Hennig, studio president, who said, "I can't imagine a better partner than Marvel for our first game." Amy Hennig, who spent a decade at Naughty Dog, where she was the creative director and lead writer for Sony's Uncharted series. Neil Druckmann taking over in after Uncharted 3 for 4 and the Last of Us and all that stuff. Quote, "The Marvel Universe epitomizes all the action, mystery, and thrills of the pulp adventure genre that I adore and lends itself perfectly to an interactive experience. I am not trying to hype the game too much, but one of my favorite things about the Captain America movie specifically is that they lean so much into pulp, that they lean so much into like genre specific filmmaking. You can just, paint every Marvel movie as like action adventure. But like the part where Captain America, the Winter Soldier is like a weird political movie, like a weird like political thriller, is like fantastic and makes the movie better for it. Captain America, I feel like, and even Black Panther 2 leans into genre in a way that, and love letters to classic Hollywood genres in a way that not every Marvel movie does. So I think Amy has a pretty good idea here of what makes some of the Marvel universe so exciting. Quote, "It's an honor to be able to tell an original story with all the humanity, complexity, and humor that makes Marvel characters so enduring, and to enable our players to embody these heroes that they love." That looks great. Check out the trailer. I am really looking forward to it. Wolf Eye Studios, we're going to move on. Wolf Eye Studio, that is the company that previously made a little known game called Weird West. Weird West is a very cool action RPG Western game. I did not get a chance to play a ton of it, but it always seemed really, really neat. Wolf Eye Studio is kind of staffing up, well, not staffing up, but getting ready to work on their next game, kind of pitching their next game, kicking the tires, so to speak. And they were at Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. Game Developers Conference, as you don't know, is like an industry trade show event, similar to something like E3, similar to something like Summer Game Fest, except not for consumers. Game Developers Conference is for networking. It is for shaking hands, making deals, doing talks, doing presentations. It is a industry trade event for the game developers, not for consumers. So if you've never heard of Game Developers Conference before, that's fine. It is not for you. If you play video games, it is not for you. If you make video games, it is for you. There are some events that are for people who make video games and for people who play video games. Game Developers Conference is not that. So I just want to get that out of the way. GDC. So the company was pitching the studio's second game at GDC, where they describe it as a retro sci-fi first-person shooter. And really, there's like a picture and a whiteboard, and that's kind of where we're at with the game. Previously, Wolfeye Studio developers worked at Arcane, doing Dishonored, Prey, Dark Messiah, Might and Magic, that sort of thing. Other people working at Wolfeye Studio had worked on Borderlands, a pre-sequel, and Mafia 3. So there is, there's some heavy hitters involved in this studio. And Weird West was cool, if nothing else. So it's very curious to see how things shape up for Wolfeye. Though obviously tough times in the game industry, not just for people trying to keep their jobs, but for people trying to secure funding for their next project. Remedy is out there cooking. Remedy is out there cooking. Pug and a Burrito. We got a Pug and a Burrito talking about Borderlands in chat. We got to see what happens with Gearbox and the Embracer Group before we get another Borderlands game. I know that Tiny Tina's Wonderlands game, which was, in my opinion, probably one of the better Borderlands games, saw a lot of support. But keep in mind that Gearbox and Borderlands is currently trapped under the ownership of Embracer Group. We will see how that goes for them. Remedy is out there cooking, and I love the cadence of their updates. I wish they had a little more meat to them, but it seems like every 2-3 weeks I got new stories about Remedy talking about, oh, we're out there cooking. We got Alan Wake, we got Control, all this stuff. Remedy is currently planning, quote, a more regular cadence of sequels for Alan Wake and Control. So we don't have to wait 13 years for another Alan Wake game. We'd all be dead by then anyways. After struggling for, this is from Video Games Chronicles, as always, shout out to Video Games Chronicles. After struggling for over a decade to make a sequel to 2010's original Alan Wake, 2 was finally released in last October, while the sequel to 2019's Control is currently in development. Remedy CEO Tara Vitala discussed plans for the 2 franchises as part of the Finnish company's full year financial results, which were published on Wednesday. Quote, with Alan Wake and Control, we now have 2 established franchises, and our ambition is to grow them into franchises that have high brand recognition, steadily growing user base, more regular cadence of sequels, and an ability to generate revenue at profits and profits at a high level. They are out there trying to make that money. He also provided an update to the status of the studio's in development projects. Control 2 continued in the proof of concept stage. In the 4th quarter, the team worked particularly on world building and combat. Codenamed Condor, the cooperative multiplayer game set in the Control universe, quote, continued in the production readiness stage, and the team focused on combat and game mechanics. Both games have proven fun and engaging to play. Max Payne 1 and 2. We got an update from Max Payne 1 and 2. Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake also continued in the production readiness stage. The team made considerable progress throughout the year. Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake is going to be a major new game with great potential, enabled by a similar development budget as Alan Wake 2. So they are out there spending that money. I mean, listen, Alan Wake 2, probably not a cheap game to make, but I'm glad to see that they're giving a similar budget to Max Payne 1 and 2. Those games definitely deserve it. Vitala said Remedy expects Condor, Control 2, and Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake to, quote, advance to the next stages of development during the first half this year. With a refined multi-project model in place, increased focus on Remedy core strengths, and the dedication of almost 400 staff, we are thrilled with the great lineup of upcoming game launches. Last November, Remedy announced a reboot of Codename Vanguard, which has been renamed to Codename Kestrel, which was originally supposed to be a free-to-play game and is now a premium game. So Remedy's out there cooking, man. They're just out there. They got the spoon. They got the, they're just out there grilling. They're doing whatever. And I say take as much time as you need, because here's the other thing. Hear me out for a moment. let's say we don't get another Remedy game for another year and a half. That still feels like a much shorter period of time than it took to get Alan Wake 2 out the door, and the time it took between you know what? They were working on other games, but like if we think about Alan Wake 2 and its continued support and it's getting DLC and it's getting updates and all this stuff, like if we got a Remedy game in a year and a half, that actually seemed like a pretty short period of time. So obviously Remedy is full steam ahead, but even if it took a little bit longer than they say it's going to, I would be cool with that. But one thing I know about business, one thing I know is that it is better to underpromise and overdeliver. So there is the possibility, Pug and a Burrito mentioning like how long it's took them to make Grand Theft Auto 6, right? But if you don't have anything to say, don't say anything, right? And that's fine. And I'm not criticizing Remedy for saying something and then not delivering a game because they're clearly making games. However, it is probably better to underpromise, overdeliver. And if you can't underpromise, just don't promise anything, right? They didn't say that the games are coming out next year. They're saying that they're going to be in another stage of production later this year. That's all Remedy said, and that's fine. But I'm just saying it is better to underpromise, overdeliver. Callisto Protocol, now that's a game I never thought I'd hear about ever again, is getting a action roguelike spin-off game called Project Birdseye, which is set inside the prison of the 2022 horror game. I have been slowly chipping away at Callisto Protocol. I know I have seen a lot of the space prison in that game. I've seen a lot of bad shit happen in that prison. At no point did I think, I'd like to play a different type of game set in this prison, but it seems like that's what Striking Distance is doing. Now, in fairness, this game does seem like it has a much smaller team, a much smaller budget. So maybe they're trying to, keep the Callisto Protocol brand going, even with a small game. But this is a top-down action game spin-off, again, set in the prison. I don't know if the characters are coming back. I haven't finished Callisto Protocol. I like Callisto Protocol enough, but not enough to maybe get super excited about a spin-off that isn't like the original game. But that's really all we know. That's really all we know about that game. Now, Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra is not the only big superhero game in development. Previously, we talked about Insomniac working on the Wolverine game and things like that. And then, of course, EA has its Iron Man game. Warner Brothers, as if they haven't learned their lesson with Suicide Squad. I don't think this game will be like Suicide Squad, but I joke. Warner Brothers also out there making a superhero game. WB Montreal, who previously developed Gotham Knights, is helping Monolith work on the Wonder Woman game. Don't have a lot of details about this Wonder Woman game other than that they've brought in another studio, that being WB Montreal, to help Monolith work on the game. Monolith, if you forget, the people who made Fear, I fucking love Fear. We're never going to get another Fear game again. Fear is one of the best horror first-person shooters ever made. Probably the greatest, if not one of the greatest. They also did Condemned, fucking rad. They also did the Middle-earth games. They did Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and Middle-earth Shadow of War. Those games are also very, very cool. However, I feel like if you went and played them now, you might think, wow, this is just a big open world action RPG in a world where there are a zillion of those. Why would I play this over another one? To which I say, I don't know. Do you like Lord of the Rings? I don't know. Do you want to do Assassin's Creed Horizon type stuff, but in, Middle Earth? Then you should play that. That being said, I do think Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor is a terrific game, and Middle Earth Shadow of War is cool, but there is just a lot. There's a lot in that game. And then finally, this is a bit of a weird one. A Steam developer has been accused of giving players free items in exchange for positive reviews. Pug and a Burrito mentioning that in Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor, wow, between All Sizzle, No Steak, and Shadow of Mordor, I have really come up with some good podcast names for this episode. Bug and a Burrito mentioning that in Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, I said it fucking again. I didn't mean to. Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, and Middle Earth, Shadow of War. One of the things that separates it from the other open world action RPGs that you are building an army. You are commanding orcs as part of it. You are infiltrating, military hierarchy. You're taking over lieutenants and commanders and all this stuff. And it is really, really cool. It is a little heady. Like it's kind of a lot of systems to take in terms of, okay, this captain is going to go do this and I'm going to go storm this castle and all this stuff, when you can also just kind of play it as stealth action RPG thing. But the military stuff, the taking over orcs and commanders, stuff like that in Middle Earth is really, really cool. But back to the topic at hand. But that's a really good point. Pug and a Burrito in chat. A Steam developer has been accused of giving players free items in exchange for positive reviews. We've talked about Steam reviews in the past, how video game developers will respond to users of Steam, with comments, questions, concerns about their review of the game. I wrote a negative review on Steam about Dying Light 2, and the developer reached out to me, and then I just never bothered to respond to them because I was like, it doesn't matter. Which is harsh because it's like, I wish this game was better, but I don't care enough about this game anymore to see it get better. Even though they're constantly updating Dying Light 2 and supporting it with free updates and all sorts of shit, but whatever. But maybe if they'd given me free items, I would have changed it to a positive review. The developer of a game that currently has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam has been accused of achieving this by bribing players with free in-game items. As spotted by DualShockers, Reddit user Glaverdan posted a message to Reddit's Steam page titled, "Why is this not breaking the Steam terms of service?" There's a game called Shinobi Warfare, which currently has a rank of overwhelmingly positive. Of the 3,067 reviews posted to the game, 2,925 are positive. Of the 3,067, 2,925 are positive, giving the game an apparent 95% satisfaction rating. 95% satisfaction rating is also the title of my sex tape. However, Glaverdan also points out that a message on the game's Discord server, which Video Games Chronicles has verified is still there, tells players that they can gain 1,000 free gems for use in the game by leaving a positive review on Steam. Well, ain't that something? Leave a review on Steam and get 1,000 free gems. I would love 1,000 free gems, and I don't even give this fucking game a chance. I'm not even playing this game. I would give me 1,000 free gems. Here's what the message says on the game's official Discord server. It says, "Hey everyone, we've got another chance for you all to get 1,000 free gems. How to do it? Download Shinobi Warfare on Steam. After playing the game, you have the option to write a review. Write a positive review to our game, take a screenshot, and send us the screenshot with your username, and you'll get free gems." Although the post is from 2022, the practice appears to still be going, with a steady stream of short positive reviews continuing to roll in for the game. Many of the more recent reviews use the word, quote, nostalgic, or refer to their childhoods, suggesting there may be a more recent prompt being distributed that suggests players say something of that nature. The game's reviews section on Steam has an asterisk next to it saying, quote, Steam personnel are reviewing reviewing recent user review activity. It also notes that the time range between March 2022 and March 2024 has, quote, been marked as containing an abnormal set of reviews that we believe are largely unrelated to the likelihood that you would enjoy the product. What? we believe are largely unrelated to the likelihood that you would enjoy the product. Oh my God. That's fucking crazy that they're currently getting away with this, and they've been getting away with it for over 2 years. These reviews are excluded from the review score by default on Steam, but the overwhelmingly positive rating seems to suggest that not every review has been flagged. The practice allegedly carried out by Shinobi Warfare's developers does go against the Steam Terms of Service. A note on the platform's FAQ under the user review section says it's not permitted to make reviewers write positive reviews in exchange for benefits. Do not artificially influence review scores, it says. Examples include using multiple accounts to leave reviews, coercing other players to leave reviews, or accepting payments or other compensation to leave reviews. That is fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. Man. So I guess, okay, so hold on. Before we get like super upset about people being allowed to review games on Steam and being allowed to be paid and bought off by developers, let's think for a moment. This is probably why this, you know, like, okay, they're getting away with something that they shouldn't, but this is probably why we're seeing more and more stories about developers responding to player reviews. So again, we go back to that story about the Starfield developers at Bethesda responding to player reviews, right? If I go to Dying Light right now on Steam, Dying Light 2 on Steam, and I go to my review, where's my review? How come I can't see my review? That's weird. Well, that's just stupid. Okay, I'll give you an example. I'm going to read this off Steam. This person played Dying Light 2 for 11 hours, and their entire review says, kinda mid, not gonna lie. Thanks, MJF. Abby from Techland said, hi, thanks for playing Dying Light 2. Would you mind sharing a bit more about your experience with the game? Your feedback will allow us to improve the game and all our upcoming stuff. We would really appreciate that. You can tell me more via the DMs. So I think my thing is that, like, that's why we're seeing more of these developers, because they can't get away with, or they can't necessarily get away with, you know, buying people off, unless Steam completely throws their entire terms of services out the window and says, fuck it, you know, you can buy off people's reviews now if you want to. My review of Dying Light 2, after putting 46 hours into the game, said, I love Dying Light 1 and I could barely tolerate Dying Light 2. If the choice is between the two, avoid the sequel like the lifeless husk of a game that it is. That's not me trying to cook them. But that was just my opinion on Dying Light 2. They sent me a similar thing. I didn't respond because, again, like, I don't. So let's say you are leaving a review because you want the game to be better. First of all, people need to understand that when video games come out, it is not an infinite life cycle that the game is going to receive. In fact, infinite life cycles of games based on the entire history of games is the exception to the norm, right? It wasn't that long ago that games like World of Warcraft were the only games receiving non-stop, never-ending support, right? And not to sound like an old man, but 20 years ago, if you told me that like a game like Assassin's Creed Valhalla would receive 3 years of updates, that Dying Light would receive like 5+ years of updates, I would be like, that's fucking crazy, are they going to make a new game? So I get when people say, well, I want this game to be better, but like, I'm not going to bother responding to these developer reviews because I would rather them just make a new game. Like, I'm done. I played Dying Light 2, right? I'm going to walk away from that game at some point in time. I can't sit here and play these games forever. I am fine with it being a big, ambitious game, but at some point it's got to stop. Now, I'm assuming, and allow me to do a little bit of research here, like the journalist that I am. I'm not a journalist. Shinobi Warfare is a free-to-play game on Steam. So it's not like you're even buying the game, investing up front in the game. Also, when I click on Shinobi Warfare, it doesn't launch. Like, I can't. Oh, no, it is. It's launching. It's opening. Oh, weird. Now. Oh, boy. Okay, well, currently the Shinobi Warfare page on Steam is just fucking broken because it says no user reviews whatsoever. Oh, so they got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Not since capturing Osama bin Laden have I been so impressed by the ability for a big organization to take the bad guys down. But anyways, I guess now you can't leave. I guess all the reviews of Shinobi Warfare on Steam are done. So great. Justice has been served. And I think that's going to do it for a majority of the podcast in terms of news. In terms of games, last stream I did was yesterday. I played Forza Motorsport. And I got to be honest, I think I might be done with Forza Motorsport. Now, in fairness, I put a lot of time into Forza Motorsport. But that recent update of letting you bypass racing and leveling up the cars in order to unlock their updates kind of killed a lot of the vibe for me, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, I just felt like, well, what's if I'm not racing the cars to unlock better car parts and I can just buy it? Like, what's the point of being loyal and dedicated to a car? And I know that sounds weird, but just, that's kind of how I felt. The other thing is that I finished a majority of the main single player career mode stuff in that game as well. So, and I could like kind of sit there and grind out the achievements if I wanted to. But really, I just feel like unless they add significant content to Forza Motorsport, I'm almost better off going back to Forza Horizon, but I also might just take a pause on racing games for now, because like I said, I got a lot of games to play. Horizon Forbidden West is coming out. I got to play that. I know they're doing a big update for Diablo 4. We didn't talk about it, but there's a huge update coming to Diablo 4. Some big changes, some big improvements to Diablo 4, and that is coming out in time with the Diablo 4 coming to Xbox Game Pass. So I will check out that version of the game and mess around with that. And then in May, Ghost of Tsushima comes out. So like, I got a lot of games on my plate, to be honest. I'm glad I kind of gave up and walked away from Assassin's Creed. People in chat saw me the last time that I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla. People in chat will probably agree. It just goes nowhere. That story just goes off a damn cliff in some really wild and uninteresting ways. I would be fine if it was just like wacky and weird, but it's just out of left field and boring, which is way worse. Again, I just want to state, because this will probably be the last time I talk about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I really like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I would not have put damn near 100 hours into that game if I didn't like it. Right? Should it be your first Assassin's Creed game? Probably not. Should you play other Assassin's Creed games over this one? It really depends. If you want my opinion, my personalized opinion on what Assassin's Creed game you can play, you can reach out to me, I guess. Is it better than Assassin's Creed Origins? In some ways, it is better than in some ways it's better than Assassin's Creed Origins from like a gameplay perspective, but not in all aspects, right? The rest of the game is really good, but I would say that last like 25-30% is just a real slog. It's just a real grind to get through a lot of that story stuff. But like, I would say my first, like, I would say it's slow to start, like a lot of Assassin's Creed games are. So I would say once you're like 2-3 hours in, from hour 3 to like hour 60, 70 is pretty good. It's a pretty good game. And I would be damned if I can say that about a lot of games out there right now, is that it can maintain interest and excitement for that long. So like, I really don't want to come off as someone who's just shitting on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm really glad I played it. I enjoyed a vast majority of my time with the game. It is just a case that at some point that ending really sours what they were trying to do. And I just want to state, for people that like want to do a lot of completionist stuff, people that want to like do every side objective, talk to every person, solve every problem, find every collectible, the story has such a glacial pace towards the end that you may feel burnt out on the game before you've actually seen the story through to its conclusion. To which I say, do whatever you want. Like, if you want to do, you know, the mushroom puzzles, if you want to hunt all the animals, if you want to find every fish, if you want to do every raid, if you want to do all the river raid stuff with your Vikings, if you want to find every, member of the, find every assassin target, if you want to do the Jotunheim stuff, if you want to do the Asgard stuff, if you want to do like all of the side stuff and not just the main stuff in England, like, that's fine, do it. But you may find that you get burnt out before you've actually seen it through to completion, which is not unique to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It is just a case where I think the story has so much filler in it that it's hard to discern what is the truly, extracurricular activity like the Viking rap battles and all that stuff, and what is just a story beat that feels like it's gone on too long. So I like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm glad I played it. And if you like the Assassin's Creed RPGs, you should check it out. But just again, beware that like at some point that game stops respecting your time, for better or for worse. And maybe I'm going to say the same thing about Horizon Forbidden West. I hope not. I really hope not. I hope that story maintains a lot of excitement and intrigue, like the first one did. The first Horizon game is fantastic. That story is so damn good. Once you find out that, and people in chat, don't spoil nothing, but in Horizon Zero Dawn, when you find out the true nature about why there are, robot animals and where you are and who you are and what's going on, it is some really exciting stuff. It feels like a really exciting world. And I really hope that Forbidden West continues that. I know that Forbidden West also has the Burning Shores expansion, so I can't wait. But also, I do want to do more action RPG stuff. I want to run around. I want to do side quests. I want to find collectibles. I want to craft. I want to do all that stuff. I just hope that it's maybe a more interesting time than some parts of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That is going to do it for this podcast. We are doing this podcast early and we're doing it quickly because I have a dentist appointment. So I'm going to spend the next few minutes brushing my teeth and pretending I floss. And I'm not talking about the Fortnite dances. And come on back tomorrow morning, Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for more streaming. We're going to stream some Horizon Forbidden West. Also, I've been making a lot of TikTok videos. Head on over to my TikTok. Been making a lot of videos, trying to record some stuff, connect with the folks. Also, I got to be honest, selfishly, I am trying to get 1,000 followers on TikTok so I can do the live streaming on TikTok, so I can stream on TikTok while I stream on Twitch. We'll try to, make that stuff happen. Those videos can also be found on my YouTube Shorts. They can also be found on Instagram if that is your thing. And come on back on Thursday morning next week for more Glitch Report. I have been GnittWitt. You can find everything that I do over at my Linktree, linktree.com/GnittWitt, GnittWitt, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads. You know it, you love it. I'll be there, and we'll see you next week. Take it easy.